Okay, well, what I'm going to explain today is the first chapter of my CIS 307 class, which is data communication and networking. From the looks of it, what I'm going to explain right now is telecommunications, which means basically any transmission of media, can be audio, video, data, anything that can be transferred. The, the five components of data communication would be: a person has to send it, which is the sender; the receiver; the other one is it goes the message. Obviously, you have to have a message. The transmission media, which the way of sending the message is which basically what it is, it's a physical path by which the message travels. The protocol, a set of rules that what it is. The protocol is the set of rules for that govern the communication, which means the data has to be able to understand each other, which means the protocol must be able to read it. For example, without the correct protocol, the French person won't be able to understand, let's say, an English person, just because they don't have the correct protocol. You have to have something governing that. There's also what it is the data flow. What this explains is that there's three ways of having data flow from one point to another. The first way is what's called a simplex. Basically, that there's one device or node that sends the information. The other can only read the information. And the half duplex is just an advanced version of that, slightly advanced, which means that both stations can send or receive data, but they can't do it at the exact same time. One can send it, and that person, once it reads it, it can send it. Both can't send at the same time. This can be thought of as a one-way street, where traffic can only travel at one way, and then once, let's say, it stops, then traffic can flow the other way. Fullplex. Fullplex is just basically the most advanced version of the data flow, which means data could be sent from one station to the other simultaneously. It can be thought of as a telephone call. The telephone, obviously, both people can talk at the same time. There's no need for one person to stop talking and the other stop. Okay. The network is basically it's a set of nodes. Nodes can be a printer, computer, or it's a device, a network, which is it connects all the networks together. And obviously, there's two types of connections between the nodes. There's what they call a point-to-point, which what it does, it links one station to another station. What is called? I'm sorry, 1 second. Okay. The point-to-point has a dedicated link from one point to another. Dedicated means it's only dedicated. Obviously, it's only dedicated to that. A multi-point, obviously, all stations connect to each other from one link. Okay, next we're probably getting to the topology. Okay, the topology. What this is basically the way that the network is connected. The mesh network, which should be shown here, basically what it does is it only allows the station to do point to point from. Let me see 1 second. Okay, this just to clear it up a little. What the mesh does, it has every device dedicated point-to-point link to every other device. So there's only one point to one point, and that's basically how they all connect. The star method, what it does is each node has a dedicated point-to-point to a link, to a central link, which would be all the way, which would be the hub. The bus topology, which is next, what it does is each node has a dedicated point-to-point link. I'm sorry, one second. Okay, I'm sorry, this is a little bit different. This means that the long cable, one long cable connects all of the nodes together. All of the nodes tap into this cable. And the next one, which would be the final one yet. There's one more. I'm sorry. The ring topology means basically that each node has a point-to-point with two devices on either side. The two devices would be, let's say station A has obviously these two stations. The station is also going to be referred to as a repeater, because obviously this repeats it to this one, then this repeats it to this one, and so forth. And hence, well, obviously each device incorporates as a repeater. And the last one is basically is a hybrid of all of them, which means basically that now obviously the whole thing it has a star backbone, yet there's three bus networks. The bus networks can be shown here, 1, 2, and 3, obviously. Basically it. If you don't, the hybrid isn't too difficult to understand. Basically